value from success, growth in discovery. Golden Arrow Resources is a well-funded gold-copper exploration company with proven management and prospective properties in Chile, Argentina, and Paraguay. Golden Arrow trades on the Toronto Venture Exchange, symbol GRG, on Frankfurt, symbol G6A, and the OTCQB, symbol GARWF. For more information, visit us at goldenarrowresources.com or call Sean at 778-686-0135.
You're listening to HowStreet.com radio, available online at TalkDigitalNetwork.com. Welcome to HowStreet.com radio, the online source for market opinions. Here is Jim Goddard.
My guest is Mark Leibovit, editor and publisher of the Leibovit VR newsletters, also known as VRTrader.com. He was the #1 U.S. stock market timer in the January 2020 edition of Timer Digest. He's speaking to us from Arizona. Welcome back to the show, Mark, and best of the season.
Yes, same to you. Merry Christmas to you and all the listeners at House Street.
Mark, do we still have a special offer for our listeners?
We sure do, and I'm going to throw in a little extra bonus in there, too. It's at VRTrader.com. That's Victor Robert, VRTrader.com, which is a shortcut to the Leibovit VR newsletters, so that way you don't have to spell my name and go through all that. But it's a 50% off on any of the products that are offered. You go to the order page, and there's a little promo code section, and you enter the promo code 2020 half off, 2020 half off. And obviously, as we draw to the end of 2020, that will not be available into 2021, at least at the moment. So we'll have to change that link and discuss the discount. But you get 50% off for 2020 half off. And what we're also throwing in between now and the end of the year, we've developed a year-end list of what we consider low-priced stocks that have been subjected to tax loss selling and so forth, that are depressed. And compared to some of the prices we've seen on Wall Street here, where everything is so inflated, these are actually down, coming off trading bottom. So it's one of what we call our year-end list. We picked about 10 names. They're low-price stocks, and these are the kind of things you look for anywhere from 20 to 30% type gains into January. There's an old theory out there. It's not mine. It's called the January effect, and it's been written about over the decades, where stocks that are sold off into the end of the year for tax reasons or other reasons tend to rebound in January as new buyers find value in stocks that have been oversold into the end of the previous year. So I'm not saying this is a definitive list of all time, but it's a nice little list, and we will send that to anyone who signs up to any of the newsletters using the promo code that I just gave you, 2020 half off.
I know you're interested in geocosmic events. Monday was the first day of winter. We also had Jupiter and Saturn aligned for the first time since the Middle Ages. Anything special happen on the markets on that day?
Yeah, we sure did. Didn't we see the market down like 500 points in the morning? That was sort of interesting, I thought, overlapping the alignment and the first day of winter. So I don't know, when I looked at it, I said, gee, maybe there is some planetary effect here of some kind, even though it was being dismissed by most as improbable or impossible. But I think the effects of the winter solstice and whether it's the alignment of those two planets or not, I can't say for sure, though I don't discount anything. What I've learned over the decades is that things that don't seem to affect markets can, or those that do perhaps are not even talked about. But I think we're going to be heading into a period of more negativity here as we draw to the end of the year, or certainly into January and February. So I think the effects may only start to have been felt. And just as a side note, I know you mentioned geocosmic. I did notice I get on all these reports put out by the various governmental agencies regarding volcanic activity, earthquake activity, all this kind of stuff around the world, and I get notices. It was just interesting. On Monday, I start getting notices about the Kilauea and the Mauna Loa volcanoes out in Hawaii, and they start to get active, and they actually are erupting on a modest basis now. I don't have an update today, so that sort of came on my news ticker. I think it was on Monday as well. So there was starting a little sign there of some activity. And, of course, those are not inactive situations, and it wasn't anything like a Mount St. Helens or something, which came as a total surprise and a super disaster. But certainly I thought it was more than a coincidence that I got that news. So there may be more of that coming. Should be interesting times between now and first quarter.
Did we have a so-called Santa Claus rally?
I guess so. So far, yep. You can't deny the fact that the indexes went to new highs, which, by the way, was not my forecast. My forecast, which correctly called the lows in March and a high in September, indicated to me, at least that for most stocks, we would see a correction. Now, we did see it in many of the NASDAQ issues coming off, and many have not made new highs, even though a few have. But my model pretty much said, be careful from September, October forward into the end of the year and possibly into the first quarter of 2021. So that to answer your question, yes, we had the rally, but it may be over. We'll see.
We'll have more with Mark Leibovit right after this.
Media recognition from Bloomberg, Reuters, recycling trade publications, patented process for 100% recovery of critical metals, including cobalt, lithium, nickel, manganese, aluminum. American Manganese is focused on recycling lithium-ion batteries for electric vehicles. American Manganese trades on the TSX Venture, AMY, the US, AMYZF, and Frankfurt 2AM. For more information, visit AmericanManganeseInc.com or phone me, Larry Ray, at 778-574-4444.
Avon Resources Limited is a gold exploration company with significant projects in British Columbia and the Yukon. Trading on the TSX Venture Exchange, symbol ABN, and the OTCQB, symbol ABNAF. Surrounded by world-class gold deposits and mines, Avon's 23,000 hectares Forest Kerr Gold Project is located in the heart of the Golden Triangle in northwestern BC. For more information, visit us at avonresources.com.
Welcome back. We're speaking with Mark Leibovit. Mark, did we see much action in the tax loss season?
We did in many of the lower price issues, and this gets back to my offer a few moments ago to those who sign up to our newsletter. We have a little list of tax loss candidates that we are posting on our website, hoping for that so-called January effect where you get a bounce, and some have already started to bounce a little bit. But, it wasn't as broad-based considering the nature of the markets and the strength we've seen in the overall market as in previous years. So there's some opportunities there. We've identified a few of them, and we may add more to that list. But I would not say it was a broad-based effect as we've seen in other years where the market was more negative.
Tesla joined the S&P 500 on Monday. Was there any kind of shock wave from that?
Well, it hit a trading target that I sort of had up there in the 690 area, and but I think it's going to 750 eventually, and I'm hoping for a shakeout in the darn thing because I like to play it for a move into the mid-700s. Ideally, however, in my work, it would have to sell down to around 500 to make it, more quote-unquote attractive for, a trade. It doesn't mean it's going to get there because I want it to, but it did, it definitely had its impact, and I'm not so sure that all the money managers that want to mirror the S&P have purchased their Tesla positions too. Certainly many have, but there could be a latent effect here, and there could still be a lot of buyers for the stock into next year. So it's not over for Tesla, but as a technical trader, it hit a short-term target, and I'm going to be patient here. And maybe between now and February or March, we can pick it up $100 less and trade it a bit.
We'll have more with Mark Leibovit right after this.
Engineer Gold Mines is focused on the exploration and development of the historic high-grade Engineer Gold Mine situated 32 kilometers southwest of Atlin, British Columbia. Engineer Gold Mines is fully permitted for surface and underground exploration with the drill program now underway. Engineer Gold Mines Limited trades on the TSX Venture Exchange, symbol EAU. For more information, please visit us at engineergoldmines.com.
Don't miss out. Stay informed. Receive the HowStreet.com weekly recap with thought-provoking podcasts, radio, and articles delivered to your inbox. Sign up for the HowStreet.com weekly recap on our homepage at HowStreet.com.
Welcome back. We're speaking with Mark Leibovit. Mark, do you expect much action in crude?
Yeah, I'm actually thinking you're going to see a little bit more appreciation than most had been calling for. We've been long one of the ETFs, XOP, which is a exchange-traded fund for the oil companies, and that's been moving up nicely here in the last 2-3 weeks, and I think there could be some more coming here. Everybody was bearish on crude oil for some, I don't know why. I guess they think Tesla and the automotive companies that are using alternate energy sources are taking over, and suddenly solar is taking over the world, and there's no need for oil and gas anymore. But, something could be brewing in the Mideast. Iran is still a trouble spot. There could be all kinds of events that could trigger something like this, confrontation even with China, perhaps. So oil is upticking here, and it might be a big surprise to the crude oil bears. So I'm bullish on it. We are long that index, and let's see how it plays out into next year.
What's happening with the U.S. dollar?
Still going down, not really responding. I'm still in that camp that I hate to be bearish on something that's down that much. And we don't have a technical buy signal in it, so we assume it's down until the charts indicate otherwise. So that's really the bottom line. Certainly if it takes off, we'll report it and try to take advantage of it. The real question is, if it does turn, is that going to be bearish for commodities and precious metals as normally is the case, or will they follow their own path? And only time will tell. But as I often mention in these recordings, I don't like to tie markets together inversely. I like to look at them independently, because there are times where they could track together or apart, and you don't want to just make a decision because the dollar is doing one thing or another and based all your other decisions on that. So we already seen that gold and silver really weren't doing well here for a couple, 3 months, even though the dollar was weak, and that sort of surprised all the bulls in gold. So anything is possible, but to answer your question, oversold, waiting for a buy signal which has not developed is the best answer I can give you for the dollar.
Gold, what's it doing?
I like it. It's finally starting to show a little life here. Seasonally, it should be strong into February or March. It has been a little bit of a disappointment for those who have been looking for more strength, considering the political situation in the U.S. and the monetary situation and so forth. You have the Chinese New Year coming up in February. So, typically you would get some type of rally or bounce into that point. There's some rumors out there, and I don't really know how much credence to attribute to them, but there are these rumors, I don't know where you want to say they're originating from, but I get a lot of stuff here, a lot of research that, there could be a repricing of gold and silver, whether Donald Trump's involved in it or Europe's involved with it, or some type of financial trigger that suddenly gold could be priced at a value that's more reasonable than where it's currently trading, and who would make that pronouncement and how that would be executed is unclear. But I'm hearing some extraordinary numbers that would even shock some of the bulls in gold and silver about what kind of numbers could possibly result if there's a technical repricing, and this would have to do with, I guess, a reset of our currencies and all the stories that we're hearing out there that may not have much real value, but have been rumored to be possibly on the horizon. So, with that, with that thought, and with the fact that we have some seasonal strength, I'd be long here and see how it unfolds into the first quarter.
Any other areas that you're really keeping a close eye on right now?
Oh, gee. I wish I could give you a whole list that we haven't already discussed. I would say there's still interest in the cannabis names, the U.S. cannabis names, which are still strong. There's still strength in the solar stocks, which in the last couple of days, a couple of the big names. So those are the sectors that seem to be attracting the greater interest, and we've talked about this sort of ad nauseum on these reports. So I think in an alternate energy, is really the other area. A lot of these smaller companies, and now stocks have come off their lows. So the street is hungry for alternate energy, and whether it's because of the green movement or it was going to happen anyway, or it's because of the politics out there, sensing that if the Democrats get in, then even more money is going to be spent in alternate energy, trying to save the planet, and so forth. So money flows still seem to be there. But like anything else, you don't want to chase these things. You got to wait for little pullbacks, and we do get them along the way. So you don't want to be buying them into new highs. I mean, a stock like First Solar, which is the biggest solar company in the world, this darn thing was $30 a share within the last year and a half. It got up to about 107 the other day, and looks like it's going even higher. But, at some point, even the big names are going to have a shakeout. So I would say those are the highlights, solar, alternate energy, cannabis, and I guess you got to throw gold in there, too, because it looks like it might have turned up a bit here.
Mark, thank you so much for chatting with us, and have a great Christmas.
Same to you. Thanks for having me. Merry Christmas to everyone.
And you'll be on our New Year's Eve edition of This Week in Money. We are looking forward to that as well.
I promise not to drink too much champagne before I do.
We'll be popping corks.
Thank you.
My guest has been Mark Leibovit, editor and publisher of the Leibovit VR newsletters, also known as vrtrader.com. He was speaking to us from Arizona. If you have any questions for Mark or any of our other guests, you can send them to info@housestreet.com. Our YouTube channel is Talk Digital Network. Find us on Twitter @Housestreet. We're also on Facebook. I'm Jim Goddard. Best of the season.
Comments made on Housestreet.com radio are an expression of opinion only and should not be construed in any matter whatsoever as recommendations to buy or sell any financial instrument at any time. Available online at TalkDigitalNetwork.com. Housestreet.com radio is a production of House Street Media Incorporated.